Hello, YouTubers out there. This is Jerry Saravia at the movies. So, this is a little different from the norm, but I had to talk about it because it was strange, and I still don't know exactly what to make of this. So, a couple of nights ago, I had a dream, and the dream was rather vivid. That's why I'm talking about it, because I normally don't remember most of my dreams. Sometimes I remember them as soon as I get up, and then they just kind of drift away. But in this case, I was a little. This is. It's not a disturbing thing at all, but it was. I don't know what to make of it. So, in my dream, and that's why it's apropos for this channel, I was in a movie theater and I was watching a black and white film that was directed by Steven Spielberg. Now, it wasn't Schindler's List, although easily what I'm describing could have been from that film. And it was nearing the end of this picture, whatever this was. Uh, a woman, you could see on the screen, you could see the back of a woman's head, and she had a babushka on. And there was some screaming and crying and some agony and smoke, some sort of chaos. And you're watching, her, and she doesn't know how to respond. Whatever it is that's going on, it's hell on earth. It's some sort of a war. And she's caught in the middle of it, whether it was a missile that just hit or whatever. Something's going on. There's chaos. And there is an audience there. It's not just me. I think I was seated next to my mother, quite possibly. And then suddenly, on the screen, the camera tilts up very violently. So everybody's like this. Whoa, aims right up at the sky, tilting up, makes a 180 turn, and then you see a black screen. And in the black screen, there is what they refer to as the iris shot. So everything is in darkness, and you just have this isolated moment, isolated part of the screen in the form of circle. And in the circle, what you see is a woman or somebody, I think it was a variety of people, holding their hands just like this. This is what you see. So from my point of view, looking at the screen, you see these hands. And then suddenly, the hands, they start to, it's almost like a helpless thing, some form of anguish. Not a fists being formed, but just struggling with what was happening. And that was the end of the film. So, I don't know what it was. My first thought when I woke up was this was a Steven Spielberg film that obviously doesn't exist, about the war in Ukraine. That was my first thought. The babushka thing, which I think it was more or less a babushka. If it wasn't a babushka, it could have been some other sort of head covering of some kind for a woman. But there was something about it that screamed Russia or the Ukraine. I mean, somewhere in Russia. And it was in black and white. So these shots look like something that could have been right out of Schindler's List, easily. And that was the end of the film, and the credits come up. Now, I don't know if this is, because a couple of weeks ago I saw easily one of the most, if not the most, powerful war films ever made, called Come and See, which I still think about. I mean, I can't put that film out of my head. It is an extraordinary war film. I mean, I don't know of anybody that's seen it that wasn't enormously moved by it, or at least devastated by it. More likely devastated than anything else. So I don't know if that came into play, or everything that's going on in our world right now between the war in Ukraine, Israel and Palestine. There's a war, of words on social media, and certainly in the media between Republicans and Democrats right now, for sure. That may not play into it, but just the very fact that we are in a state of some measure of helplessness, like we don't really know what to do. We don't know what the future holds. you could say that's really true every day of your life. But in this case, this could have been that. Or I've seen the future, and maybe Steven Spielberg is planning to make a film about the war in Ukraine. I don't know. That is a possibility. He certainly hasn't made any announcements or pronouncements of that sort. But I think his next film is some sort of top secret project having to do with aliens, which I don't know what it is that he has come up with. He's dealt with aliens before. He's made war films before, specifically Saving Private Ryan. Certainly Schindler's List is a war picture to a certain extent. But a lot of the war films were about World War II. And then, of course, there's Munich, which is not World War II, but it has to do with terrorism. That was a different thing, and that was the 1970s. And but really, since then, he hasn't really dealt with war principally. Problems in our past, our history, like Bridge of Spies, is one thing. I think he was made to do a film like that for sure. That feels like a Steven Spielberg production, and it is. But this felt like a return to what he did in Schindler's List. Now, I don't know what, again, I don't know what this means. I haven't the faintest idea, but it caught me off guard, and I can't stop thinking about it. So I don't know what is coming into play. Could be everything that's going on just somehow manifested into this thing. I have no idea. So lend me your thoughts. Tell me what you think. You think it's a possibility that he may make a war picture at some point, Steven Spielberg, or somebody else, could be some other director. But everybody, I think in the credits it said directed by Steven Spielberg. So, and would it be in black and white? Probably not. But that's not the point. You don't have to take the dreams literally, but the images were quite vivid, I have to say. I'm still trying to deal with that. So tell me what you think. Have you ever had any dreams about movies that don't exist that you've seen in a movie theater, or something that does exist that somehow had a different outcome or a different type of ending, a different whatever, and you just wake up and say, "Oh my God, what was this all about?" So anyway, let me your thoughts. Tell me what you think, and thank you for the new subscribers out there. I will return with reviews. This was just such an anomaly that I had to share it. I just had to talk about it. If you aren't a subscriber, please subscribe to my channel. If you are a subscriber already, thank you very much, and hit the notification bell for future uploads. And this is Jerry Saravia at the Movies, signing off.